Hey guys, it's Logan Freeman with the LiveFree Investors Podcast. I interview investors and business owners who share investment advice so you too can live free. Today, I'm talking to my right-hand man, Thomas. Thomas, in a few sentences, tell us who you are and what you do.
Sure. Thanks, Logan. My name's Thomas Skevington. I work with Logan with Clemens Real Estate. I'm a commercial real estate agent. So by that, I mean I assist real estate investors and property owners as they search for properties and help them analyze various assets, particularly focusing on multifamily assets, but always trying to stay flexible with the best available options. But just analyzing past and present numbers and trying to forecast how to improve and make the most of their investments.
Yeah, man, I appreciate you sharing that. What's your favorite part about being a commercial real estate agent?
Cliche answer, but it's the freedom.
Yeah,
Just being able to pivot and go after what makes the most sense. And, especially in times like this, it's really the mindset of the freedom, because if I was working a salaried job that's affected by this crisis, even though commercial real estate is affected, if I was
sure.
working a salaried job, I think I'd be feeling a little helpless. But now I just have the mindset of, I need to go figure out how to make the most of this and figure out how to accomplish things.
Yeah.
And that mindset's really liberating.
Absolutely. What's the best thing about being a business owner?
Having the flexibility to make decisions, obviously have responsibilities and people that I need to interact with and keep in touch with, but
Yep.
overall having the flexibility to choose what I'm doing at all times, and maybe even the small things like being able to go to the grocery store
Yeah.
during the middle of the day if that's easier to do. Just stuff like that it just makes life a lot more enjoyable, I think.
Absolutely. Flexibility is extremely important, and building a life around your business is not necessarily the way that you should think about this. You should think about building your business around your life, and being a business owner definitely allows you to do that. So thank you for sharing that. Keeping up with the current trends and opportunities can be a challenge. So I'm curious, man, how do you stay up to date on a regular basis, especially with, someone who needs to be on the cutting edge of what's going on in Kansas City, and understanding a lot of different kind of points of feedback that you need to be able to aggregate for your clients?
Yeah, I think talking to people and asking questions is really the best way. Definitely staying on top of news, but trying to find news through maybe uh, different sources than just the Business Journal.
Do you have any
Or
tips on those?
sorry.
Do you have any tips on where you get your news from?
Funny enough, the Kansas City has a Reddit page that is typically just random people,
Yeah.
but they see something and they mention it, and that helps. And then there's a forum called kcrag.com that is specifically development focused.
Yep.
Just people living here in Kansas City, and they tend to figure things out before the news ever reports it. So that's
Absolutely.
a big source. But then, yeah, just trying to stay in touch with property owners and asking them questions, asking them what they've heard, especially in times like these. If they've talked to 5 other property owners and you can glean that information from them, you're really picking up information from 5 or 6 people. So
Yeah, absolutely. So speaking to people that are in the business and that are actually on the ground is extremely important. What's the best
mhm.
advice that you've received as a business owner?
A lot of good things. Maybe don't count your money before the deal's actually closed.
Oh
That's
man, that's so true, isn't it?
Yes, been reminded about that recently as well. So it really hits
Uh-oh.
home
Uh-oh.
We have a couple of contracts canceled due to a pandemic. So it's always important to be digging and working towards that next deal, and
Yep.
not just assuming you've got things in the bag.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%. And a nice thought process is to try to think about, what are all the things that could go wrong here? And if they do, how do I mitigate the risk on them? And I think that's something that we try to do together on these deals is, we've been through this enough where it's like, okay, what's probably going to happen, or what's going to potentially happen, and what are we going to respond with? I mean,
Yes,
that's one big thing. And the second is, have such a thick pipeline as a commission-based person that you never are really scared of where the next dollar is going to come from. And that takes a lot of time to get to. But I mean, I think it's important, because if you have, one big deal that you're just trying to close, and that's all you're working on, that's a scary position to be put yourself in. So we're always trying to work on, a large volume of transactions, because we know that a certain amount of them are going to fall out, right? Or be pushed 30, 60, 90, 120 days. And it's like, well, crap, my bills aren't pushing, 120 days. So something to
absolutely.
definitely think through. So this is your opportunity to promote somebody to the show, Thomas. So what other successful business owner like yourself should be on the Live Free podcast?
Well, I one person in particular, helping him sell a building, and his name's Brad Allen,
Okay.
and he owns real estate, but he doesn't live in the KC area. He's got a business in California. He lives in Texas, and I know his business was really impacted by the coronavirus,
Yep.
and he immediately changed out his factory to start making masks. And so he just a good example of someone pivoting to do something different and keep his employees making money and
Absolutely.
living. So I think he'd be a great person to get
Okay.
on here.
Brad Allen will be on the show. The most important question of the podcast that I did not prep you for. Are you ready?
Sure.
All right. What is the best way that you live free on a regular basis, Thomas?
I think going back to what you were saying is building your business, not so that it dictates your life, but trying to integrate it with your life, and just not letting it control every aspect. And so something I try hard to do is to really, different times you need to have different guidelines, but I try my best not to check my emails on Sundays.
Yep.
Really try to keep a hard cutoff around 5:30 or 6 for emails and phone calls. And I know that can be kind of difficult to do as a real estate agent, but
Sure.
it's something that I really focused on when I first got started. And it helps me to really segregate work from the rest of my life.
I'm looking over here because I'm looking for a book called Boundaries by Dr. Henry Cloud. It's a fantastic book. It was more or less around the notion of putting boundaries in your relationships. But, when you are a business owner, your business is a relationship. So
Right.
I enjoy those boundaries that you spoke about. It's easier said than done, especially when you know that, probably at the end of the line or that other line or that email could be dollars, right? It's
Right.
very difficult to do. So spoken like a true business owner, man. So Thomas, how can people connect with you?
Well, I'm on LinkedIn, and that's really the main source. Kind of, once again, keeping those boundaries. I haven't really done much on Facebook or Instagram for business, but LinkedIn, Thomas Skevington, I don't think there's too many other Thomas Skevingtons out there, so should pop up.
I think so. I think so.
Yeah.
Well, we'll tag you in the post when we put this live out there. Thanks, Thomas, so much, man. This is Logan Freeman with the Live Free Investors Podcast, where investors and business owners share advice so you too can live free. For more insights and ideas on how you can live free, connect and message with myself and Thomas Skevington on LinkedIn today. Thomas, thank you so much for joining us today, man.
Thank you, Logan.
And until next time, live free.